So, you want to become an actor? Well, as you probably already know, it's not easy to get a part in a movie. And as Ron Repke has discovered, it's no easy feat to cast a film either. With the help of 3 different casting agencies, Repke auditioned close to 300 people in Kitchener and Toronto to find the perfect actors to bring his carefully honed characters to life.
It's never easy casting a film, especially one when you're dealing with time constraints, not to mention a bare-bone budget, and add to that mix the fact that 2 of the main characters have to age from their teens to their 20s during the course of the movie.
That added to the audition nightmare. It wasn't just finding an actor, it was also finding an actor who looked, for the David and the Dianne character, who looked like another actor we hadn't found yet, also who could act.
So it's sort of like the proverbial chicken and the egg. What came first? That question seems to still cause confusion for Ron Repke.
We were scrambling. It was like the weeks leading up to it. Josh, we were trying to match up with when Trent walked in, too, because I think we had Josh before we had Trent. And so we were trying to match Josh rather than the other way for Dianne. We had to match Murray. So we just went, we're going to go for it.
Despite worries about hair color, not to mention eye color, Ron found his Davids and his Diannes. In fact, for the most part, he knew the instant he saw each actor that they were the one.
Keeping in mind that as that's happening, like for Dianne, I'm changing the script in my head. This is, with Murray, the auditions were in Toronto, and I had like 2 hours to see about 40 people. And they were coming through, they had like 5 minutes, next, because I like I said, it was like a restricted amount of time. And when Murray walked in and I saw her, first of all, she was very attractive, but secondly, just the way she carried herself, even before the camera was rolling, and then when the camera was on, how she read like she was reading the script, just off the script. There was a certain naturalness about her that I was seeing, that I was going, and my mind is racing, going, oh, what if she, French-Canadian, what if she's from Quebec?
Who would have thought after so many years you would show up again?
I hope it's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
In the original script, Dianne was a girl from New York. Ron wanted an actor who could pull off a convincing American accent. Needless to say, Mireille Dumont, a native of Quebec, was a little apprehensive about auditioning and was genuinely amazed when she found out the part was hers.
Oh yeah, I was surprised. I didn't know they would change. I mean, it's not often they will change a script. You know, they changed it to adapt it. She was not from New York anymore, she's from Quebec City.
This opened up a whole new can of worms for Repke. Now he had to find a girl who could convincingly play the young Dianne.
We were desperate leading up to this. Again, we were concerned because it was nearing the end of August and the season was changing. We had to have this, these summer scenes shot, and I needed a girl that looked like the older Murray, the older Dianne, spoke English with a really wicked accent, like a believable French-Canadian accent. And I checked all the schools around here, the bilingual schools, and we couldn't find both those 2 parameters. And so then Murray told me about her cousin, who was in Quebec in like a girls' private school, like a convent type of thing. And I went, okay. And she showed me a picture of her that she had faxed down.
Thank goodness for modern technology, because the next step was to see how Caroline looked and sounded on camera. So what does one do? Well, you get Dad to shoot the home video, and then you courier to the director, of course.
And she turned out, I think, wonderfully in the film, and it was a really, really charming performance that she did, and I think we lucked out again.
Lucked out is putting it mildly. There was a hitch, though, in all of this. Caroline couldn't speak English. Repke can't speak French. As for the language barrier, there was a built-in translator on the set. Caroline's older cousin, Murray.
Retourne, Caroline, retourne. Comment? Lis.
C'est uncle. Tu es un cochon.
J'ai une what? A what?
C'est uncle. Ta mère est une vache, ton père est un cochon.
And then there's Joshua Montgomery, who played young David in the film.
I think he was a definite. As soon as I saw him right away, I knew. He came in, and of all the 12-year-old boys that auditioned, he just had this sort of confidence about him that I was just sort of, I couldn't help but going, this is him.
My girlfriend is 12 years old, and she's really pretty, and well, she's really nice. And I think we're a great couple.
Today, Josh is 16 and in high school. He looks different, but he's still a self-assured young man.
I don't think Canadians have a real opportunity to be actors as the Americans do. So I don't want to become too dependent on it.
Josh, who lives in Kitchener, still acts in the occasional stage play. But as fun as filming Dianne was, he still remembers the valuable lesson he learned from the experience.
Not really.
I learned that it was hard. I didn't think it, me, I thought it was going to be a lot easier, but it wasn't. It was difficult, very time-consuming, a lot. Got to put a lot of elbow grease into it, and just not as easy as most people like to believe that it is.
Trent McMullen, who played the older David in the film, already had a fair idea of how much work was involved in movie making before he signed on for Dianne. Like his younger counterpart, he too is a KW native. Unlike Josh, Trent is actively pursuing an acting career. Ron Repke originally had cast another actor from Toronto to play David, but wanted someone who had more of a natural small city personality. Then he met Trent.
He had in him a lot of things that I saw in myself, I thought, you know, back then. It was kind of, if ever I die, they're going to put on my tombstone, he meant well. And Trent had that written all over him. You know, that was what I was looking for originally.
McMullen had done some acting in the past and previously appeared in a national commercial. Landing a lead in a film was definitely a thrill, but something else appealed to him on a more personal level.
I don't know if it was so much the sweetness of the story or the opportunities that it gave to me to be in front of the camera that often, or, I mean, to the fact that it was set here in Kitchener. Do you know what I mean? There's something once in a lifetime about that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how many, you know, if I ever get to LA or if I ever go to New York, I don't know if I'll be given an opportunity to say, you know what, you want to play a guy from Kitchener?
And appearing in the film may very well be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for many of the extras in the movie. Considering how many there actually were, you'd have to give credit to the director. Or do you?
I think almost every relative that I have in that film, I mean, almost the entire, the wedding scene, well, at least a lot of the people on the boat there were related to me somehow.
And for all of you who showed up at the various shoots hoping to get your big break, Ron has something to tell you.
For all those extras that didn't make it in the film, my mother never made it into the film.
And what was Mom's reaction?
Well, it was that long silence thing. So, no, she didn't give me too hard of a time. It was just sort of, she's more proud of her son having got the film done, finally.
At least Ron did right by one of his parents. His dad was the father of the bride in the wedding scene. Oh, well, maybe next time, Mom.
Inside Entertainment Extra, we'll be right back with a behind-the-scenes look at the making of Dianne.
There are things you can count on, and there are things you can't. It's just the way it is with life, and the same rule of thumb applies to filmmaking. During the course of filming Dianne, Ron Repke faced challenges he never could have imagined. But through it all, luck was on his side, but more importantly, his wife Debbie was at his side.
So we had a very tremendous luck with weather, and today it was supposed to be raining. This is rain. Sorry, Dave McDonald.
The golden rule of filmmaking? Don't depend on the weather. Things weren't looking good the night before the first on-location shoot in the Muskoka area, but then this scenario was played out over and over again during the course of filming. In Quebec, while shooting the skiing scenes,
I remember actually when Trent and I, or David and Dianne, were talking at the top on the ski hill there in Quebec. There was one of the worst snowstorms, blizzard, that Quebec has had in years. And here we are standing at the top of the Mont Saint-Anne, and like we couldn't even kiss or talk. We were frozen, the wind, everything. It was like so cold. And an hour later, you couldn't see anything. It was white everywhere.
And in October, when Repke wanted snow for this Christmas scene, he had to transport loads of the white stuff from local arenas. But then
It's really snowing good.
Thank you.
Then there's the wedding scene. Just like in real life, this event didn't take place without a couple of hitches. The problem? There almost wasn't a bride.
I think it was the Tuesday or the Wednesday before the weekend. All of a sudden I found out that the actor, that the bride, she wasn't able to make it. And I was stunned, and I was just, you know, I was trying to justify how I could change that character. I'm going, well, She wasn't the main part, or she was. No, we could switch it. Maybe he found another woman. And we're like, what are we gonna do here, you know? And I was just distraught. And then it dawned on me, this particular actor had an identical twin sister. So, hello.
What can be more romantic than a wedding? How about a first kiss? Or in this case, an almost first kiss.
When we went to shoot the scene of where it's supposed to be, she's pushed him and he's fallen and she thinks he's knocked unconscious and she wants to give him mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. And we've got the crew, we're on a hill and there's a crane and there's like 20 of us all watching the shot. I can't really see what the cameraman's seeing and it's like it's all happening. I'm take two and all of a sudden the camera operator turns around to me and says, you know, very quietly, she's not kissing, you know, they're not kissing. She's like about 5 inches away.
Turns out that Caroline had never before kissed a boy, let alone in front of a film crew. So with the help of her cousin, she got a little coaching in the area.
Imagine this is your first boyfriend and, you know, this is... Actually, I think she did it pretty good.
I don't know if she ever actually made contact. It's sort of trickery in Flickerville.
The magic of filmmaking is sometimes performed with smoke and mirrors, but according to Ron Repke, in the case of his movie Dianne, the magic was mainly performed by his wife, Debbie.
She's been my rock of Gibraltar in terms of standing behind this dream that I've had.
And I knew that he would do this today, and I sort of have deep down, I know he will do very well at it. Like, that's just there.
Ron and Debbie are used to working together. They jointly own iLight Advertising in Kitchener. In fact, they met while working together at another agency. So Debbie taking part in the film Dianne was a natural extension.
Actually, I stayed out of it a lot, except for when it came down to the crunch. Would prepare all the food and do all the shopping and sort of coordinate all of those elements.
And just like many married couples, money occasionally was an issue.
I think the finances were the biggest fear on my part because I had no idea how much this cost. And every time after the first shoot, when I saw what things were costing, especially the equipment and the food alone and the accommodations for all these people, it was every time we do this, every weekend was costing a good chunk of change. And when we started to do a lot of them all at once, it was, oh, can we keep anything local? Can we, like we went to Mount St. Anne, can we do this at Chicopee? Can we somehow fake it? You know? He's going, no, 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 they'll know. No, no, they won't know. But
I mean, we're not living in nirvana. We'd have discussions that were sometimes a little bit more direct, but they weren't ever, if it meant that the shot would be better, you know, she was always agreeing. It wasn't, and some of the time she was convincing me of it, no, we should do it right. If we're going to do it right.
And do it right they did. But both Ron and Debbie are quick to point out they didn't do it alone.
We had incredible, you know, assistants with hardworking crews, and I mean, add to this, they weren't being paid. You know, this, I mean, it makes you really realize what a passion there is in this process.
And does Debbie share this passion in filmmaking?
I mean, we don't have the same passion. When he says, let's start into the next one, it's like, no.
But what this couple does share are common values and the ability to compromise.
I'll work real hard with iLight, and then Ron can become the next Steven Spielberg. I know he'll keep doing it. I can't stop him from doing that. That's his passion as much as doing artwork is mine, you know.
I stopped film for 5 years while we got the company going, and now it's sort of my turn to take a shot at it and see what comes of that. This is, you know, this is life. This is what it's about, and you make as much out of it as you can.
Ron and Debbie Repke continue to run their advertising agency, and yes, Ron is considering making another film.
Let's leave you now with one of the songs from the film. Kitchener native Jeff Maui has been working in the music field for the last decade. Dianne was his first venture.